Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning. We're going to get right into this. This is my morning reading of Think and Grow Rich, and I'm going to just bring it to you, and we're going to have some commentary, and it should be fun. So let me just shut off that phone here so it doesn't keep bothering me here. All right, thoughts are things, and powerful things. When they are mixed with a definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their attainment or their translation into riches or other material objects. See, some years ago, Edwin C. Barnes discovered how true it is that you can really think and grow rich. His discovery did not come about at one sitting. It came little by little, beginning with a burning desire to become a business associate of the great Thomas Edison. One of the chief characteristics of Barnes' desire was that it was definite. He wanted to work with Edison, not for him. Pay close attention. Pay close attention to the story of how he turned his desire into reality, and you will have a better understanding of the principles that lead to riches. When this desire or this thought first flashed into his mind, he was in no position to act upon it. Two problems stood in his way. He did not have enough money to buy a train ticket to West Orange, New Jersey, where the famed Edison laboratory was located. These problems would have discouraged the majority of people from making any attempt to carry out their desire, but his was no ordinary desire. And I want to stop right there and say decisions are where it's at. It takes no money to make a decision. It takes no money to take a pen to paper and write down what you want to be, have, and do, and make that a definite desire. See, that's where most people fail in life. They don't make a definite desire. So make sure you have a definite desire. Edwin C. Barnes presented himself at Edison's laboratory and announced that he had come to go into business with the inventor. Years later, in speaking about that first meeting, Mr. Edison said about Barnes, "He stood before me looking like an ordinary tramp, but there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after. I had learned from years of experience with men that when a man really desires a thing so deeply that he's willing to stake his entire future on a single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he is sure to win. I gave him the opportunity he asked for because I saw that he made up his mind to stand by until he succeeded. Subsequent events proved that no mistake was made." Years ago, someone was looking for a career, and they came and they said to the man, "Give me a job." And he asked about the pay, and the guy said, "Here's what we'll do. We'll try you out for a week, and we will pay you what you're worth." Now, most people don't want to prove what they're worth. See, we don't get paid for what we want. We get paid for what we're worth. And Thomas Edison knows that when you want something bad enough, you will do it. And see, Barnes did not get to be in a business associate with Thomas Edison that day, but Barnes received a career, received a job in the organization, and he went to work. He went to work with the attitude that he worked with Thomas Edison. So let's continue on here. It could not have been the young man's appearance that got him his start in the Edison office. That was definitely against him. It was what he thought that counted. Barnes did not get his partnership with Edison on his first interview. He did get a chance to work in the Edison office at a very nominal wage. Months went by. Nothing happened to bring nearer the gold or the goal that Barnes had set as definite major purpose. But something important was happening in Barnes' mind. He was constantly intensifying his desire to become the business associate with Thomas Edison. Psychologists have correctly said when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. Barnes was ready for a business association with Edison, and he was determined to remain ready until he got what he was seeking. He did not say to himself, ah, well, what's the use? I guess I'll change my mind and try for a salesman's job. But he did say, I came here to go into business with Edison and I'll accomplish my goal if it takes the remainder of my life. He meant it. What a different story people would tell if only they would adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all consuming obsession. Maybe young Barnes did not know it at the time, but his bulldog determination and his persistence in focusing on a single desire was destined to mow down all opposition and bring him the opportunity that he was seeking. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from different direction than Barnes had expected. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. Listen to this. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it becomes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many people fail to recognize opportunity. Mr. Edison had just perfected a new device, known at the time as the Edison dictating machine. His salesmen were not enthusiastic about the machine. They did not believe it could be sold without great effort. Barnes saw his opportunity. It had crawled in quietly, hidden in a queer looking machine that interested no one but Barnes and the inventor. Barnes knew he could sell the Edison dictating machine, and he told Edison so. Edison decided to give him his chance, and Barnes did sell the machine. In fact, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the world and all over the nation. One of the business association out of that business association, Barnes made himself rich in money, but he did something infinitely greater. He proved that you can really think and grow rich, but it takes time, guys. You are not going to probably think into yourself $1 million today, but it takes time. How much actual cash that original desire of Barnes was worth to him, I have no way of knowing. Perhaps it brought him $2 or $3 million. $3 million in early years of the 20th century would be comparable to more than $50 million in terms of buying power in the beginning of the 21st century. But the amount becomes insignificant compared with the greater asset he acquired, that definite knowledge that an intangible impulse of thought can be transmuted into material rewards by the application of known principles. Barnes literally thought himself into a partnership with the great Edison. He thought himself into a fortune. He had nothing to start with except knowing what he wanted and the determination to get it. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when you're overtaken by temporary defeat. Each person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. And during the gold rush days, an uncle of my friend, R.U. Darby, was caught by gold fever and he went west to Colorado to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the thoughts of men than has ever been taken from the earth. He staked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore. He needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. Quietly, he covered up the mine and returned to his home in Williamsburg, Maryland. He told his relatives and a few neighbors about the strike. They got together the money for the machinery and had it shipped. R.U. Darby decided to join his uncle, and they went back to work the mine. The first car of ore was mined and shipped to the smelter. The returns proved that they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars of that ore would clear their debts. Then would come the big killing in profits. Down went the drills, up went the hopes of Darby and Uncle. Then something happened. The vein of gold ore disappeared. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled on, desperately trying to pick up the vein again, all to no avail. Finally, they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to the junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. The junk man called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating. The engineer advised that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with fault lines. His calculations showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling, and that is exactly where it was found. The junkman took millions of dollars in ore from the mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. Long afterward, Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over when he made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. The discovery came after he went into the business of selling life insurance, never forgetting that he lost a huge fortune because he stopped 3 feet from gold. Darby profited by the experience in the newly chosen field. He simply said to him, I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy insurance. Darby became one of the small group of men who sell over $1 million in life insurance annually. He owed his stickability to the lesson he learned from his quitability in the gold mining business. Before success comes in anyone's life, that person is sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a person, the easiest thing and most logical thing is to quit. And that is exactly what the majority of people do. And I want to encourage you today. I'm going to close here, but I want to encourage you today to keep on keeping on, no matter what the circumstance looks like, no matter what you face in life, keep on keeping on. I hope this has helped, and I hope when you watch the replay later on that you will see that you can really think and begin to get rich. Have a great day, guys. Take care.